Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. This is episode 56 of the 11:30 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. What's good, everybody doing out there? Appreciate you guys joining me back here for another episode of Talk Pro Wrestling, man. I appreciate you guys joining me back here on this Friday of Talk Pro Wrestling, you guys. And man, oh man, what a week it had been. I'm excited to be here. I'm glad you guys are joining me. Shout out to all my listeners all across the world, man. Germany, UK, all over the States, Canada. Man, we got some stuff to get into, you guys, this week. A lot of trending topics and pro wrestling. We're going to talk about this week, you guys, here on the 11:30 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. Before we do, man, I want to shout out my guests who was on last week, Manny and Jason, the Curtain Call Kids, you guys. Man, it was a very, very honor and pleasure to have those guys on with my co-host of the month of May, my man Gator Live, man. So I appreciate you guys joining me last week, and also my man, like I said, Gator Live for the month of May on Talk Pro Wrestling. But you guys, man, we're going to talk nothing but wrestling. And like I said, man, oh man, what a 48 hours it has been, you guys. We ain't gonna waste no time. We're gonna jump all into it, you guys, man. The WWE releases, and I'm pretty sure everybody has heard about it over the last 48 hours. Aliester Black was one of the few who commented and had a video out. Post this WWE release, and boy, oh boy, man, it had everyone buzzing Wednesday afternoon, noonish time, man, that WWE released it. A couple superstars, man, and these just not just any superstars, you guys. These are top level superstars, and now the question is to be asked: is anybody else in WWE safe? You feel me? What's going on in WWE? You feel me? Like, what's going on, Vince? I think that's the major number one question that's been going on around this whole week in pro wrestling. But you guys, man, the releases such as Braun Strowman, you guys. Yes, man, Braun Strowman, you all remember when he debuted in WWE in 2013 on the main roster on Monday Night Raw when he came in as the Riot family. Braun Strowman, of course, took a back seat from that. And, he reinvented his character as the monster among men in 2016. And, he just been that big guy since then, man. But lately, of course, everyone has their opinions about Braun Strowman and his work. Of course, they haven't been using them lately. Just been not consistent with Braun Strowman. One moment he's on SmackDown, the next moment he's on Raw, and there's not really too much to do with him. You feel me? But man, like, you had big plans with him. Last year, he substituted Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns called out, he was like, nah, man, I don't think this is too safe, with the whole coronavirus and that whole WrestleMania time. And he took Roman Reigns' spot and took on Goldberg at WrestleMania last year and won the Universal Championship. You feel me? And I mean, you would think major plans that was ahead of Braun Strowman. Like I said, a lot of fans already was like, man, well, hey, they already buried him. They already kind of like, they did what they did to Braun. But man, he's kind of like the surpriser of them all on this one right here. He's the monster among men. This is the surprise of them all. You feel me? Among them all. And the last set of rounds of WWE releases, it was Samoa Joe who was who everybody was shocked that they released. And I started wondering once I heard all these releases, and some of them, I was thinking, well, it's not too many people that they released on that Black Wednesday in 2020. That stayed, but it's some that actually stayed. Titus O'Neil, Drake Maverick, Kurt Angle eventually came back, but I think he left or whatever. So, I mean, wasn't too many people, but, some did. And I really don't know. Others, man, such as Murphy, you guys. Yes, a.k.a. Buddy Murphy. He, everybody known him as this his tag team, Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy, they were NXT Tag Team Champs, and they had their manager along with Alexa Bliss when she first joined the company. And, they had a nice little run at NXT. Yo, man, Murphy, you seen him come up I believe it was maybe like a year or two ago. He came up to the main roster. And then he did the 205. He did the 205 stuff for a minute, and he was really great with Cedric and Tony Nese and all of that. Man, it was really cool. He became the cruiserweight champion. The cruiserweight champion. So that was cool. And he made his debut on the main roster when he got drafted to SmackDown, and he's been on SmackDown, ever since. And he was on SmackDown and beginning on SmackDown, went over to Raw with Seth Rollins, and I guess he came over to SmackDown or back to SmackDown with Rollins and the whole draft or whatnot. But man, that was another upset, you guys, to really see Buddy Murphy really go. Was hearing that WWE, of course, never seems to have plans for him lately, and that's why we haven't really seen him on TV. So, man, WTF, man, like, wow. Man, the list goes on, man, for real. The list goes on. Ruby Riot, you guys, she is the shocker of them all, you guys. Liv Morgan and Ruby Riot, weren't they just wrestling on TV? I mean, what, last week or whatever, or this past Monday? Like, I'm not even too sure, but, like, man, like, Ruby Riot, though, like, the one who had the most to give out of the Riot Squad. I mean, they all had to give something together equally, but man, they let go Ruby, and you're bringing back Eva Morita. Even though her role is supposed to be somewhat a manager or push, other superstars or be their mouthpiece or whatnot, but man, oh man, like I don't even know what to say on this one, man. I really don't. Like like Ruby Riot, they was a part of the Riot Squad, like the one in kind of like one of the few only women's tag teams. Like, I'm talking about actual tag team, not just a tag team they threw together like Lana and Naomi or Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Because I'm so sick and tired of seeing Shayna Baszler with Nia Jax and Okay, Santana Garrett. I think she was a prospect in NXT. They had high hopes for her, man. Really high hopes for her. She got released also, man. Man, oh man, like this is unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. And Aliester Black, you guys, I think this is one of, besides, Ruby and like I said, man, all of these are shockers, man, but Aliester Black. And these wasn't guys who was just like these guys who had big matches on the show. And Aliester, for the last 2 months on Fox, on SmackDown, all they've been doing is showing, hey, we got something to show you for Aliester. And, okay, he's back because the whole, Selena, his girlfriend, she said what she said about, XYZ, even though she's supposed to be coming back now. So now it's kind of weird. They fired her, now they bringing her back. Now her boyfriend just got fired, her real life boyfriend. So, and the whole story they just did. And then a couple of weeks ago, I was wondering why they didn't go on more with the story with Aliester Black and Apollo last week. They did Kevin Owens and Apollo, which I thought was like, didn't we see this already? But, I was like, okay, this kind of like make a little bit sense why we didn't see him last week, or they didn't follow up with the story of Aliester Black attacking Big E, and now you just released him though? Like, man, oh man. I don't know what to say, man. I really don't know what to say. I think WWE is going down a hill, man. Earlier Wednesday afternoon, I was on YouTube, man, watching Wrestle Talk. And they were live and they were, chatting and just a number of things, they were talking about, as far as, some topics and stuff. One of the topics were, every now and then you're always going to hear of Monday Night Raws. Oh, it's an all-time new low rating this week, or all-time new low rating this week. And they just keep beating. It's kind of like to beat the clock in a way. Well, can you beat your lowest rating? And it seems like WWE is accomplishing that as far as Monday Night Raw goes. But man, it's going down the hill for some reason. And the state of the WWE, it was I think it's when they thought they were going to sell when they sold the WWE to Peacock, you guys, man. I think things went down right there. Because the state of WWE, man, is really shady right now. It's really shady, and the writing, the booking, everything is like Monday Night Raw, man. Like, oh my goodness, man. Like, for everybody who knew me or know me, I'm a big fan or was a big fan of Monday Night Raw, man. It was live, it was in your face. Go get it. You feel me? Like, Manny and Jason was talking last week because they were older fans, and they were talking about. I remember when Raw was just 1 hour. I remember that, even though I wasn't watching at that time. But I remember Raw started out 1 hour. Then it progressively got to 2 hours because the product got bigger. So they didn't, of course, have their own network, and the times were in like how they were now, where they got so many products and there's so many streaming devices out there and or streaming platforms. So it was just Raw and SmackDown. So I mean, but I just feel as though, man, like the 3 hours of Monday Night Raw, man, it's just they not using it right. You feel me? It's just not using it right. And the crazy thing about it was, which I'm gonna get into a little bit, AEW's Double or Nothing, which was really, really great pay-per-view this past Sunday. I actually watched that Monday night because I knew Raw was gonna suck. So I watched Raw afterward, and I know a lot of people say, "Why would you do that, man?" Like, and I was just, like me, I'm a, diehard wrestling fan. Some people say, I think the guys over at Wrestle Talk said this, man. That all-time rating low, and as it keeps getting lower and lower, or they keep beating their all-time low record, those fans that watch are going to be those diehard fans. Like, they're going to just be that until they die. You feel me? Like that. And maybe that's me or whatever like that. But hey, who knows? But like I was saying, man, Monday Night Raw is just the show, and it's just they're not using it well. In my opinion, they just not using it well, you guys. I always was a big believer of, okay, we got this 3 hours that everyone is complaining about. Won't you use it in a good way? And sort of. The third hour, I watched it. That's what I was going to say, you guys. I kind of like forgot what I was going to say. I watched Raw on a delay, right after Double or Nothing, and it was only an hour and a half worth of wrestling. The other half was just the other hour and a half with nothing but promos and backstage segments and just nothing but bullshit, man. So like I try to like watch it in a delay so I can just speed past the commercials, man, because nothing, like everything on Raw is just I don't know what to say. Like Charlotte and Rhea Ripley, that old storyline going on was just stupid. Like Nikki Cross come in and she does the beat the clock challenge. I didn't like how my girl Rhea Ripley said, "Yo, man, I can beat you in 2 minutes." And then when she got out there last week, she sort of forgot that she had to beat her in 2 minutes. Like, that don't make sense. That really don't make sense. Charlotte comes out of her mouth and say, "I can beat you in 1 minute this week on Raw," which they had a 2 minute beat the clock double, whatever. But she's supposed to forget that she got to beat her in 2 minutes. Like, this shit doesn't make sense. And now Nikki Cross is just excited. Yeah, I would be excited. I just beat the Raw Women's Champion and this 16-time Raw Women's Champion, probably soon to be. So I mean, like, man, this shit is they doing is just it's not making sense at all. It's really not making sense at all. I understand what they're doing with Kofi, trying to put him in the mix because yes, he is a former WWE champion. Yeah, he didn't get his fairly rematch, but I mean, like, the match they had last week on Raw was great. They didn't need to sort of run it back, but I mean, it was still good though. But we all knew Bobby was going to win. You feel me? We all knew Bobby was going to win. I mean, excuse me, Drew. We all knew Drew that was going to win, and they were going to have sent off match, whatever like that for the title at Hell in a Cell, inside Hell in a Cell. So, I really don't know, man. I really don't know. It's nothing there. Is nothing there. And I mentioned earlier, is anyone safe? They released Braun Strowman, who's really was a big guy, and I heard that his contract was over the millions. And of course, they're doing budget cuts and stuff like that. And which is not a great time, especially the first time was even worse. In the midst of the pandemic, WWE released like over 20 people. You feel me? And it's so funny now that I think of it, or that I thought of it also, that Impact Slammiversary's pay-per-view this year is their little promo is basically like, yo, man, all these people got released last year. We basically picked them up and sort of changed our direction. And people been into us since then. Well, who's going to get fired again and who? So it was like it was, hey, I keep up with certain news as I can, but man, like, I guess everybody knew the budget cuts was coming, but man, I didn't know they were going to be this big. I don't know if anybody knew, but hey, WTF, man. Like, that's crazy, man. And with all of this is going on, is word of mouth around the wrestling industry that could Vince McMahon be selling the WWE? And there's potentially parties that he could sell the company to. Now, Vince McMahon, and this time right now, he's no longer in touch with pro wrestling. He's no longer in touch with the fans. But I mean, we all we shit on Vince McMahon all the time. We shit on his creative, but we all wouldn't be his biggest wrestling fans today if it wasn't for Vince McMahon. If it wasn't, that Vince McMahon and maybe Bret Hart Screwjob didn't go the way it went, maybe we wouldn't be here. Maybe WCW would have put WWE out of business. What if Stone Cold never got that big? What if he never got dropped on his neck? What if he got out? If he never got dropped on his neck, he probably would have still had that long reign. Who knows? But I mean, like, I don't know. But the potential parties that he could be selling the company to is Amazon and Disney. Now, the only one that makes sense to me, because only one makes sense that is Disney, because seeing the route that WWE has went into, the direction it has gone into in the last couple of years or so, I can see it being Disney. Some say the potential buyer to buy the network and WWE is ESPN. Now, I heard ESPN was sort of kind of upset with WWE that they didn't get the Peacock or the network initially with the deal before, the whole Peacock situation. I even think the WWE network deal is bad. It's horrible. I can't even go back and watch my old SmackDowns. You feel me? They had like all the episodes of it. Now they just got like the last 2 years of SmackDown. So now I can't even binge watch like my old year. I was like, what, in 07. So now, I've been, since I started watching wrestling, in like 99, I've been binge watching almost every episode up until now, and they just fucked it up. So now I could just watch Raw. And, it's just certain things I just don't like about it. But man, oh man, man. Man, oh man, oh man. So yeah, and Vince is, he wants to, he don't care about pro wrestlers no more. He don't care about nothing else no more. He just wants to die a billionaire. He want to die a billionaire, man. And I don't know. We pray and we hope maybe Triple H, with the success that NXT has gotten, with Triple H being in control with that, and we hope that just maybe after the dust has settled and everything is clear, that maybe Triple H can just revitalize world wrestling entertainment. We just hope that could be. Oh man, you guys, man, I tell you, it's been a crazy week of pro wrestling. You guys, man, we got NXT TakeOver in your house next Sunday, you guys. It was a match announced on Tuesday on NXT that is a dope match. I can't wait to see. We got Karrion Kross defending his title against Pete Dunne, Johnny Gargano, Kyle O'Reilly, and Adam Cole, baby. So yeah, man, a fatal five-way match. Did I say that? I said fatal four-way? Fatal five-way match. You guys, taking place at NXT in your house, man. That is going to be exciting, man. That's going to be exciting. We had AEW Double or Nothing this past Sunday. Man, we're gonna talk some wrestling, man, and we got a tag team matchup tonight on SmackDown for those who are watching. But yeah, man, we're gonna talk everything more. We're gonna take a quick break. My friends over at Anchor, man, we got a message for them, man. We'll be right back.
Everyone has something to say, a story to tell. We make it easy to share yours. So let's talk.
Regardless of your podcast setup, hit record. And from there, whether your podcast reaches 10 people or 10 million, we can help you get heard wherever listeners are.
And who knows, maybe even quit your day job.
But no matter who hears you, it's about connecting and sharing something from your perspective.
It's about having a voice and using it without anything standing in your way. Say it all with Anchor.
Yo, you guys, welcome back here to the 11:30 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. Appreciate you guys sticking with me throughout the commercial break. Yo, man, I had to take a break, man. I had to pay some bills, man, for real. I had to pay some bills. I appreciate my friends over at Anchor FM for, allowing me, Dre on Wheels, to share my podcast with everyone across the world. But man, you guys know we're going to get back into all the good stuff, you guys, on pro wrestling. Before the break, I was telling you guys tonight is Friday, you guys. Friday Night SmackDown, we're going to have a huge tag team title match. I was talking to my man Gator and other guests, of course, a couple of weeks ago, just like I was telling them, I think it was Deshaun, my man King Taz from the Cheat Codes podcast. I was waiting for this match, the Usos to come back to take on father and son. That's the first time ever, right? That's the first time ever. But before we get to that father and son match, let's not, for real. Okay. Now, J. Cole, I done said a lot about J. Cole, especially on the main podcast. J. Cole, yes, he's dope, man. The M, the Luigi, that line is awesome. But come on, you guys. Everybody in WWE, even the hit row, everybody ain't got to use it. Like, that is going to get old. Nothing J. Cole does probably gets old, but you get what I'm saying? But nonetheless, man, Jimmy and Jay was fired up on SmackDown last week, you guys, as they took on the Street Profits, and which was an anticipated matchup, to say the least. You feel me? The Street Profits and the Usos, great match to kick off the show. But tonight, you guys, we got the Usos taking on Rey Mysterio and his son, Dominic Mysterio, you guys, for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. It's going to be an awesome matchup. But the Tribal Chief, he don't really like this. He don't like what the other Uso going, man. And what Roman said makes perfect sense. Because I said it before. I said, I thought that was Naomi. I thought that was the Uso that just came back. I thought, was it Jimmy? I thought that was Jimmy the whole time. And to come to find out, that was not Naomi's boyfriend. That was the other Uso the whole time. So, if he does go back into the tag team, which one is it? Which one? You feel me? Roman make a great point. So, I don't know. But we got a cool matchup to look forward to on SmackDown. I mentioned earlier, of course, with Aliester Black, the whole Big E storyline, man. I was very interested in seeing where that was going to lead us, you guys. But, yeah, the release of Aliester Black, man. The release of Aliester Black. Sad. But you guys, man, we're going to move on here on Talk Pro Wrestling, you guys. And I mentioned earlier, you guys, AEW, let me get it right, you guys. AEW Double or Nothing took place this Sunday in front of a huge crowd, you guys. It was like the first wrestling event, since WrestleMania or, before WrestleMania or whatever. They had a huge fan attendance, man. So that was awesome. This was the second highest bought AEW pay-per-view since, its beginning. So, man, the congratulations to AEW. The show was off the chain, man. Off the chain. Kenny Omega, Brian Cage, killing it at the beginning. John Moxley, Eddie Kingston. I want to see them, go on a little bit more. I love it when they took the Young Buck shoes the other week. So, man, I'm really loving it, man. What else? Britt Baker. Shout out to Britt Baker, man. Finally, we have I'm not going to do that. I'm not. Finally, we have a new women's champion AEW. That's all I'm going to say. The first champ, what was it? I think, I can't even think of her name right now. And I hate when I'm so into this and I can't even think of their names right now. But besides Nyla Rose, and yes, everyone is going to have their opinion on Nyla Rose and all the controversy behind that. But Britt Baker, in my opinion, is the official first women's AEW champion. I'm loving it, and I know she's going to go far. Man, they're going to go far. You guys seen the picture with Britt Baker and Adam Cole? Baby! That was a cool picture. Man, the Casino Battle Royal was dope, man. I thought it was going to be the ladder match, the Casino ladder match for some reason. But yeah, the Casino Battle Royal was dope. They said at All Out, they will be having the all women's Casino Battle Royal. So, for Ruby Riot, who got released in WWE, I hope she make a great career there. Hope she does, because that's one thing with AEW. They women's division needs to come up, But the Casino Battle Royal, we seen Leo Rush, man. My man Leo from DC. He doing the big things, man. In MLW, he's doing the rap thing. He's doing the damn thing. So, but man, he didn't last long in it. I, thought he was gonna last a little longer, but that was awesome. Jungle Boy will walk away with the W, you guys. Also, you guys be seen, and it was also announced officially that the new show, AEW Rampage, will be premiering in August on TNT. Their new show is on Fridays at 10. And the new special commentary is going to be none other than Mark Henry. Mark Henry spoke on why he left WWE and when you just great, I guess, and someone just holding you down. And it's just, I don't know. Before I go on about that, man, I don't know, because a lot of people saying, I can see most of the talents that got fired go to AEW. They like the second biggest wrestling promotion, about to be the first. Who knows? Number one. But I mean, I don't want to see all the WWE has-beens over there. I don't want to see that. Oh, look at Braun, but he goes by a different name. Oh, look at that's just like John Moxley. He was Dean Ambrose. He didn't need John Moxley. You feel me? So I don't want to see a lot of guys from WWE. Split them up. So let the Iconics go to Impact Wrestling. Impact got a women's tag team championships. That'll be great. Samoa Joe, he'll go great back with Impact. I think they need a star there. Besides that whole shit with Don and Don Callis and Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers and stuff, they need something else. But Kenny Omega, speaking of, Don Callis and them, Kenny Omega had an awesome championship matchup, you guys. He defended his title successfully with all the shenanigans that went down in the match, though. He defeated Pac and also freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. Awesome matchup, man. Awesome matchup. And also, you guys, Sting. Now let's not talk about, man. Let's not finish this show and we ain't gonna talk about Sting, man. Sting and Darby Allin having a cool matchup. Cool matchup. Beat Scorpio Sky and his partner. I can't think of his name right now. Yeah, he beat his partner. Sting, man, looked great. He looked awesome. And I know he was waiting for that because WWE would not let him wrestle. After the buckle bomb that he had with Seth Rollins and Night of Champions, I think it was 2014, something like that, 2015, something like that. They would not let him wrestle, something like, so. Shout out to Sting, man. Shout out to Sting. Miro, of course, retained his title against Lance Archer. And the main event, you guys, the Inner Circle against the Pinnacle in a stadium stampede match. My favorite part of the match is when they had the Jacksonville Jaguars coaches, and it was Jericho and MJF back there, and the coaches is like, oh shit, like every Jaguars fan who was in that venue had to love that. They had to love that, man. But man, yeah, man, Double or Nothing. Like I said, this past Sunday, AEW's second highest rated book pay-per-view. So man, they going up. They going nothing but up. They about to hit the road back just like WWE. The only thing now is with a lot of guys that may wanted to see Aliester or see a Braun Strowman. I heard someone who bought tickets or was thinking about buying tickets to their show that was coming to their city and just was like, nah, actually I'm gonna go to AEW that's coming. You feel me? Because I think SmackDown, they go on to Dallas, they going to Houston, and they go on to somewhere else in Texas. And AEW is also coming to Texas too. So, man, oh man, it is crazy right now, man. It is crazy in the wrestling world. Oh, whew, man, for real. Oh man, it's some crazy stuff going on. I'm gonna try my best, you guys, to keep you guys updated with everything pro wrestling, you guys. Just everything just going on. It's just been a lot going on. So busy, man, and I try to keep it that way in a way, but try to stay level-headed, you guys. But man, I appreciate you guys joining me here on the podcast this week. It was a very, very awesome episode. You guys, once again, don't forget to check out the episode last week with my guys, Manny and Jason, the WWE Curtain Call Kids. Very, very exciting episode. And also, once again, shout out to my man Gator Live, who was on the podcast last month. We're going to try to get him on for another episode, man, and definitely come back for another month also, man, to chop it up with me and you guys here on the podcast. Go follow my man Gator on Instagram at GatorLive_down5. And also follow and subscribe to the Down 5 podcast and Dope Discussions with Erica. But man, yo, before we get on out of here, man, oh man. This is gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting few months in wrestling, to say the least, you guys. But before I go, you guys, man, don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow me on Twitter at Dre on Wheels. Follow me on Instagram at the 1130 podcast. Like the 1130 podcast on Facebook. Subscribe to the 1130 podcast on YouTube. You did. Go to YouTube, subscribe to the 1130 podcast, turn on them notifications. Yeah, so you don't miss an episode. For real. The 1130 podcast main episode, you guys, premieres each and every Wednesday, streaming at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on EB Radio and YouTube, you guys. But the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, you here with me. You here with me. This is the show. We're available on iHeartRadio, so subscribe. Favorite me on Anchor FM. Follow on Spotify. Leave a 5-star rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. You know what it is, man. For real. Man, what a show. What a show. And if you would like to be a guest here on the podcast, email me. That's the 1130podcast at gmail.com. Or just DM me on social medias, man, so we can work, man. So we can work, you guys. Yo, man, we're gonna have a cool show next weekend, man. If the counter looking great, man, if everything still go great, man. We're supposed to have him on the show a couple of maybe a month or two ago. Of course, with things going on in the world right now, it's a little difficult. But my guys from the Rap and Wrestling, you guys, podcast is gonna be here, man. Rap and wrestling, man. So we're gonna chop it up with the guys, man, over at Rap and Wrestling next week. Shout out to the Jobbeteers podcast. Shout out to Talk of Champions. Shout out to all my guys over there. I see my guys, doing their thing, man. I love it. I really do. I really love it. I see my guy, Sir Wilkins. I see he wrestling. I see all of them. I see they doing their thing, man. So shout them out, man, for real. Shout out to the Clock Street Wrestling podcast. We Love Wrestling podcast. Shout out to all the wrestling podcasts. You know how we get down. Man, it was an awesome show, man. Let's keep getting it, you guys. Yo, it's your man Dre, a.k.a. Dre on Wheels. And I'm out.
I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the new one. Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Yeah. I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 1130 podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the one. He the one, nigga. So let's get it, baby. He the one. Who with me? So Breeze, baby. Let's get it. You with me? Yeah, they gon' hate, but they ain't stopping this. I'ma keep making hits. Dre and Wills, you know it ain't no copying. Was you sitting there on the carpet with us? Yeah, we knew we had some options. We blessed, we ain't got them problems. Speak something that I gotta be honest. Told him he was gon' blow, and that's my promise. We too smart, and we leave with our heart. Family come first.